Howdy and aloha. Welcome to Manata. The earth and you are ohana. We hope you stay and talk.
Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James with Montauk, and we're going to see who's running for president because that's important. God, this stupid wire. Anyway, it is June 19th, 2023, and you're at Montauk. This is my 8th YouTube channel, thanks to the Ministry of Truth. And I've been doing this Blog Talk Radio thing since 2014 and this YouTube channel since late 2016. But in 2020, I've gone through 8 channels. So this channel is my 7th, and I still have a backup of 2 more because I have strikes on. Anyway, it's just insanity. All the stuff that's now revealed and people are okay to talk about is what got me off of those other channels, obviously. But when you're talking about a bioweapon, mass social control, and world central banking, the CBDC, the WHO, the World Economic Forum, ETAL, all that are partners. They just don't like you talking about that. They don't want you to see or realize or be presented with information that will direct you towards what's probably happening. And I've brought that information out for years. The first thing I always started talking about from the very beginning was Citizens United, which you guys need to look up. Getting money out of politics. Now, the PAC situation, it's just, that's a funneling system. But we need to just make sure that money comes from, the voters, the U.S. voting republic, in regards to the system itself of ballots and candidates and electoral politics, et cetera, et cetera. We need a complete overhaul. And I'll kind of give you some information on that as we move forward. Now, let's jump over to this real quick. Yeah, that's that's my Twitter. All right. But we're going to go to who all the candidates are. All right. Hopefully you can see most of that. I think you can, which is good. All right, you can. Good. Now, this is Ballotpedia. Its accuracy, in my opinion, is about 95%, which is good. There's a lot of it leans towards the left for sure, and it is not bipartisan. It's not independent. It's backed by corporations from the duopoly of the United States, corporations and all this other stuff. But anyway, it'll give you general information. But when it comes to specifics regarding candidates, if you read, it's kind of swayed. It's definitely swayed towards the Democrats, and from my perspective. All right, so let's see who's running. The timeline of people there's a Miami mayor announced his candidacy. Francis Suarez, Mike Pence. Let's go back in time. So Joe Biden announced it in April 25th. Glenn Youngkin, Republican. He's Virginia governor. He also said he was running. Tim Scott. Ron DeSantis jumped in. Um, Cornel West jumped in on June 5th, 2023. Chris Christie on June 6th. June 7th, Doug Burgum announced this. I don't know who that is. Some rich dude. I guess Mike Pence was on June 7th, June 15th with Francis Suarez. Notable declared candidates and exploratory committees. Interesting. You have Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, Marianne Williams. Um, Here's the names of the Republican candidates. All right, that have Marianne Williams. And then right here you have, let's just read when they announced. Donald Trump announced he would run in November 15, 2022. Corey Stapleton in November of 2022. Tim Scott was announcement. Vivek Ramaswamy, he announced. Asa Hutchinson, Republican, Arkansas governor. Nikki Haley announced February 14, 2023. Larry Elder, Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Doug Burgum, Mike Pence. And they're there, and the Corey Stapleton, just so you can see who they look like. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can pretty much see it. Just so you know who we're talking about. All right. It's important to know who all these people are. Burnham. Okay. Comparisons, announcements, Thailand's previous cycle. Possible Democratic presidential candidates. Abrams, Adams, Cory Booker, of course, again. God, Jesus. Might butt your gig, but whatever. Clinton, Hillary. Of course, Kamala. Yeah, sure. Andrew Cuomo. Joe Kennedy. Ro Khanna. Amy Klobuchar. She ran before Mitch Lawn Grissom, Governor of Mexico. Joe Manchin. Chris Murphy, Philip Murphy, Gavin Newsom. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't already announced, honestly. Cortez. Can she run? Is she old enough? I don't even think she's fucking old enough, honestly. Don't you have to be like 35 or 36? Maybe Fitzgerald, Ryan Reynolds, Nina Turner, Elizabeth Warren, Gretchen Whitmer, Bernie Sanders, Executive Public, Republicans, Abbott, Liz Cheney, Bob Cooker, Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, there's a lot. Okay, Chris Christie, Rand Paul. I don't know if Rand Paul would run. I really think he's not. I think he would have the best chance overall. At least above a lot of these Republican candidates, for sure. He would definitely have more pull than Chris Christie or Nikki Haley. Definitely more pull than Mike Pence or Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah, but yeah, he'd have a tough time with Trump because he's got a base, man. He's building. Let's go down here. So, Republicans, Donald Trump, Laura Hogan, Mike Pompeo did not run for Republican nomination. Republican business executives. Ivanka Trump. Ooh, Tucker Carlson. There was something. Oh, right here. Sorry, I missed this. Democratic business executives and public figures. Joe Sandberg, Oprah Winfrey, Andrew Yang, Michelle Obama, or Michael, actually Michael Obama. Um, yeah, candidates who have filed in 24 presidential election is Jesus. Libertarian Party, Aaron Dake. Oh my God, look at all these people. This could take. I'm not going to name all these fucking people. There's. Let me see if I got. There's one. Adam Hullock. Green Party, Independent Party. Who else? Alan Hudson. Independence. Wow. Who are these fucking people? That's a big. Look at this list. Look at my little thing right here. It's just. I said. This is. I'm looking for. I think it's. How do you spell his first name? Hold on. Dr. Shiba. Yeah, it's A. I don't see him in there. That's odd. Am I missing that? A-ya? A-Y. Nah, he's in there. It's just down pretty. Nope. That's interesting. Candidates who filed for the 2024 presidential election. I don't see Shiva. Maybe that's not his full name. Maybe you put it in. Let's find out. It's Shiva. Oh, that's his first name. Shiva Ayadurai. Brilliant man, by the way. Alright, so it is under S. It's in here then. Shiva is his first name. Okay. Which is going to be right here. There it is. As an independent. Okay. Oh, can't believe how many fucking people are running for president. Candidates who filed for the 2024 presidential election. Look at all these fucking people. Oh my God. What's that guy? Howie. Let's see if we can do the party. Hell no. Yeah, like that would be stupid. And then Cornell is in here too. Cornell West, right? There he is. Okay. Green Party. Fucking stupid move. It's just like that's like, because they have such a great winning record. And then the People's Party. My God. Sorry. I just love my olives. They're good to snack on. Alright, so Andrew, Amber, look at all these fucking people. This is nuts. There's got to be at least a few thousand people here. Easily, right? Let's just go through this. Doesn't even say how many. List of registered presidential candidates. Okay, okay. Well, we know all these people aren't going to get in. All right, let's just say that. And let me explain why. If you go here, and you guys need to check this out. All right, this is called the United States Election Assistance Commission. And what their job is to monitor the systems the processes, make sure everything's fair, right? But you need to know who runs this, right? And it's the United States. They are they're just a fucking, like an NGO. They're a nonprofit. They're a corporation. You know, their donors are probably some of the biggest donors on the planet. That, you know, but here's the issue. Here is the issue in regards to what you need to be looking for and why your vote, or you think your vote, is gonna probably not mean much depending on where you're at. So, for example, look, Missouri. I'm in Missouri, right? By Kansas City. Dominion, right? These fucking machines are everywhere. And none of them are the same. See, here's the problem. They have the unison process, right? In many states and counties. They have the ES and S process, or machines that are in many counties. Right? And there's also, I think there's one more process. Heart, yeah, and heart. I think, you know, Dominion is D Suite. Yes. There's 4 different. Oh, clear ballot. Right? Clear ballot. That's 5 different processes. There's Dominion again. ES and S. Just Dominion and ES and S pretty much dominate all of them, most of them, most of the states, most of the counties. Right? So there's 5 different machines that are used. Okay, and we know that Dominion has such a wonderful track record. Oh, Microvote too. That's in Tennessee. I think I've heard of them. I don't think they're that wonderful either. So now there's 6 different processes, 6 different technologies, I would say, that are used to tabulate. Verity is heart. And I think that's all. 6 different processes, right? And a lot of these have been investigated and brought forth and gone to court and found out they're you know, Dominion has been in trouble several times. I know Hart has. Not sure about ES and S. I definitely, you know, the point that I'm making, right? For all these candidates to put their faith in all this, it's not a unified system of complete and thorough transparency. When they count the ballots, they have usually just a Republican sitting there to monitor or to verify, or whatever their job is, to show some type of validity or fairness, is just either a Democrat or Republican. No independent. There's never a third party in any of this process, right? Which there should be, right? There should be somebody that's from an independent party, either, you know, whether it's green or whatever fucking party. There's like there's dozens of different parties out there, right? So let me show you. The nonpartisan, you've got Concerned Citizens Party of Connecticut. That's a party. That's a American People's Freedom Party. That's a party, right? Um, Peace and Freedom Party. Sounds nice. Right, let me see. There's a few more. Of course, the Green Party, Libertarian Party, I believe is going to be in here somewhere. There's at least 20 that I know. At least 20 different parties that are registered in some state, some county, some city that have that are out there. Conservative Party. That's another. And there's the Independent. Who else? American Independent Conservative Party. Oh, there's the Conservative Party. Then there's a really conservative American Independent. And then there's Other. Okay, Dan Knight is running as Other, which is probably a good idea. Nonpartisan seems the way to go. Independent seems the way to go, in my opinion. Green Party is a waste. Just to let you know, I was part of the California Green Party Media Committee. We handled 80, 90, 100,000 Greens in the state of California that were part of that caucus in California, which is the biggest, which was the largest. Because California is a big fucking state. They got like 40 million people and dropping. They're now at about 38 million because everybody's leaving California because California is turning into a dystopian, tyrannical, authoritarian nightmare. They want to push a law. This is these people. The Democrats want to push a law. Gavin Newsom is a part of this. If you're a company or business, corporation, LLC, and you're somewhat a contributor or whatever, and I'm not sure if that's the particular case, it could be generally, that if you leave California, you have to pay taxes for the next 10 years, like a penalty. They're penalizing you for leaving California for 10 years from the day you leave, 10 years after, no matter where you fucking go. It is fucking crazy. That state, and they just released 7,000 pedophiles out on the street. Like convicted felon pedophiles out on the street. Sorry, olives. So the thing that I'm trying to convey, right? There's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on here. And that's the problem. I hope you understand that. You know what happened to Bernie Sanders? I hate even saying it that way. Bernie Sanders, who back in 2015, in Huntington Beach, California, Surf City, USA, I walked door to door and had blisters after a day or two, passing out flyers and knocking on doors for Bernie Sanders. And I was met up with very angry conservatives and very angry staunch Democrats that didn't like him at all. And I really thought that was the way, because the guy was trying. It really felt like he cared. He wanted to take the money out of the politics, right? Which turned out to be bullshit, which turned out to be a scam, which turned out to be he folded, and it was really sad. It was really sad, that whole process. It was July 15th, or was it April 15th? I think it was April 15th of the Democratic Convention that he had the opportunity to stand up and say, I do not I do not. I do not concede to the. I hate when that happens. I do not concede to any of this. We need an extension and need to investigate the primary voting system. And a lot of people are covering it. That's where kind of that's where was it Jordan that everybody hates this fucking they hate this guy. Um, was talking to Donna Brazil and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and all these people that were just admitting they were controlling everything, and they weren't going to give it to him. They weren't going to give it to him. And then he didn't learn his lesson and stayed true to these people or whatever. It's just he just went downhill from there. And then he tried to do it again in 2020, and he had already stacked his campaign with Fareed Zakar or Sakar Fareed, anyway, and a few other people that had already worked for Nancy Pelosi and John Kerry and Dennis, Arizona guy. I'm trying to get his full name, but anyway, he was a senator or governor of Nevada. Dennis something. Anyway, so he had already. It's like they had already created the loss, and then Iowa came by, and that was just a fucking nightmare. And then Dominion was all a part. It's just it. And the pushback from him was just nothing. I remember telling people, "Are you guys noticing this? There was no fervor. There was no conviction. It was just like he was reading a fucking script, and not really saying, "Hey, this is bullshit. I'm being screwed over again, and we need to fucking do some serious investigating, and we need, the law and all this stuff." But here's the problem: there is no justice in voting right now. There actually isn't a Department of Justice right now. There actually is not an FBI. The CIA has always been crooked. Everybody's known that forever. So that's just, I guess, something we still got to fucking deal with. What? Anyway, there is no. Now they're there. These departments are there, but they're not there for you, right? What am I doing? Let me fix this. I feel like I'm in the wrong side. Where am I? Oh, let me see here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now I get some more in the side. Kind of off. They're compromised. Obviously compromised. They don't serve the people's interests anymore. The voting system itself doesn't really have, like, the FCC, the FEC, Federal Election Commission, is compromised. They don't have a body over them that check. There's that nobody's checking the checkers, just like nobody's checking the fact checkers. There's nobody, because the fact checkers since early 2018 in the past few years have been completely and utterly wrong. All the information that's recently come out about Walensky with the CDC, and everybody was being fact checked and removed, and then you just had Facebook, Zuckerberg come out recently and just say, yeah, we kind of didn't do it right, and we kind of just didn't really follow, or basically saying we did not honor or represent your First Amendment rights. None of that happened, right? Ever since Fluvid-19 started in 2020, in early 2020. So the thing that what we need to understand, and I'm just really surprised that this isn't a giant concern for the Republicans, because they remember what happened in 2020? I mean, Joe Biden, who had like 12 people at his fucking rally on average, right? Because they were all scared to death from Rachel Maddow and Anderson Cooper, probably, right? Got 81,000 votes. How, we Stop the Steal was proving, and I was following it. I was presenting it. I was showing it on my YouTube. How much stern, pertinent, factual, truthful evidence that was coming out day after, like hour after hour. On this state was doing this, and that state was doing that. And they were stuffing the ballot boxes. The COVID thing kind of helped everything as far as extending the time for people to vote, but it also gave them time to move information in regards to the 2020 election. And we're talking ballots. And then we find out, and this is a fact, and it's been on mainstream media. So this is a fact. I'm just telling you, okay? Just telling you this. A fact means something that's actually, a rock is a rock and water is wet. That's just to clarify. With 153 million votes, they saw that over like 500 and something thousand, I don't know the exact number, but it was like over a million or close to a million. It was a good amount. That was wrong. That amount of people didn't actually vote. So, the amount of people that were registered that actually voted didn't translate to the same amount of people that voted. It was actually more, which is odd in history, because in history going back, it's usually less. A lot of people will register, like, let's say there's 100% of people that register. There's 100. So what usually happens is those 100% of people that register, not all of them vote. Not all of them vote. It usually turns about 85, 90%, because some of them say just fuck it, or they just can't, or whatever the case may be. That's history. That's happened. Now, this last election, they had 120%, right, of people that voted, and then they're like, well, a lot of those people didn't even register, so none of that made sense. Now, there's tons of information just besides that very pertinent piece of information right there, which is, if you need the information for it, I can look it up. I got it somewhere, in one of my docs or in one of my political files that I have, and I can look it up. I just type in voting process and it'll tell me. Anyway, so if you ever want to know that information, let me know. But the entire process is bad. We've got 6 different technical, mechanical, engineered machine processes that are all different. Of course, they're kind of similar in this way and that way, right? Which I showed you here, right? You got, where did it go? Where did it go? Yeah, right here. ESE, Dominion, Heart. I can't believe Dominion, ES and S, Heart. We got Microvote, Dominion, like I said, Clear Ballot. Please tell me you guys are understanding this. None of these systems are the same. They're in many ways not completely identical. Maybe they offer the same processes that they have to follow through the FEC, which is fine. But that their internal workings could be a little bit different. Maybe one's more hackable. Maybe one can move a percentage rate this way or that way, or maybe, not just this, is the delegation as well, right? The delegation can sway and be. If you're a delegate, get ready to be showered with trips to Disneyland and vacations on ocean cruise liners. Right? These people are constantly greased. You ever heard of the term elbow grease? It's a fat cat term of corporatocracy or whatever. But but the thing is then the entire system is still destroyed. I'm trying to figure out why the Republican Party is so hell bent on a president that was just, from my perspective, completely cheated, criminally cheated in 2020 out of an election. There's no fucking way Joe Biden, who had like 12 people and had, every way possible of rigging or cheating a fucking ballot, a voting system was voted in, right? And there was just so much information. I had show after show after show, and other people were just, Combo Couch was completely on top of this. And I was going off of a lot of their information and looking into their information to see if that was accurate. And yes, there was stuff that they were trying to submit to the RNC, Republican National Committee, that they weren't even accepting. It was odd. It's like, why aren't you guys taking this information, right? Why aren't you guys using the information that we're digging up in regards to the machines, the process, the delegation, all this stuff, right? What we're seeing on TV, how they're spinning a candidate, that's happened, I don't know, forever. They'll project somebody way before all the votes are counted, right? Maybe it's a big county that has a lot of people that are voting. That's fine, or city or whatever, or district or zone or area, whatever. But I don't believe it should be counted until all the votes are counted and they've been clarified. See, here's this. You guys understand this situation? The entire process is just too wide open. It's like the Old West. That's how I depict it. You want to go rob a bank? It's pretty easy. You just go in, take your 45, and you stick them up and you're gone. Good luck if they fucking find you. If they track you down, because most of the time back in those days it was hard to fucking find these people. Right? There wasn't a ton of criminality. It was very rare, to be honest with you, because everybody had a gun, and if somebody fucked up, usually a townsperson will say, "Well, now you're just pushing it, bro, so we're just gonna fucking shoot you," which happens. But the point I'm making is we just don't know if the systems and the technology and the engineered machinery and all this and the internet access and the coding and all this other stuff inside of these things, if they're completely and thoroughly fair, right? And obviously they're not. Obviously they are not. So I'm very surprised that the Republican Party isn't attacking that animal. I believe there are some, but that needs to be the biggest fucking thing on the planet right now, is to make sure these 6 processes, these 6 different types of machines and technology that are in all of the United States, in every state, in many counties, needs to have a third party, unbiased a technician or coders or some people to come in that aren't influenced and that can come in and look at these machines and look at these processes. I'm just a layman guy, right? Used to do drywall, used to do tie steel, used to paint, used to sell cars, used to do customer service on the phone, sell solar door to door, all kinds of stuff. Jack of all trades, master of none. just a layman guy. I could walk in. I guarantee you, I could easily walk in to any district or any county and look at the system and ask these pertinent questions. How 100%, if I were to give you the question I would ask is there a capability or a way in any way for this particular voting process from when the person walks in the door to mark off or check off or punch or push that ballot button, is there a room for error, or is there a way that that system can be uh, compromised? And they'll go, oh yeah, it's fine. I go, well, prove it. Show me. Show me how much integrity your product has. Show me how much. Show me how many ways this machine or process has a vault to keep that very important, completely the sanctuary of sanctuaries um, vote. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but anyway, is that the way that you believe with your system, whether it's Heart or Clear Ballot or ES&S or Dominion, et cetera, et cetera? Is that the way that you believe that your system is the best way? Starting from the very beginning, walking through the door, walking out, and knowing this person's got a receipt and all this other stuff. Snork, that's my biggest thing. That is my biggest thing. I just don't see it happening. So prepare to be surprised. That's all I have to say to the Republican base, caucus, people, Trump followers, everybody. Prepare to be fucking astonished and surprised, because you're not tackling something that obvious went array or got totally fucked up in 2020. That should be the biggest fucking thing. A regular programmer would not be adequate. Would need someone with digital encryption and RF knowledge, not just in programming, but also in heavily integrated electronics. Thank you. We need those people. Snork, thank you for that. To make sure, yeah, I mean, more specifically, people that have far more technical and coding and encryption, digital knowledge than I do, which I don't obviously have any. But I mean, in just this layman guy, sitting here, it's pretty obvious. We need to find out what the fuck's going on. We need to make sure that every single ballot is a pertinent, valid, counted, accountable, and verifiable, going to registered United States citizen that's alive, that isn't voting twice, right? I mean, tell me I'm wrong, but this needs to happen. This definitely needs to happen. Anyway, that's something they should do. That's definitely something they should do. All right, that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss today. Thank you for your input, Snork. I'm going to be on tomorrow night. It's going to be open season, open forum. I'll send out the invites this morning, and then I'm going to go over a lot of stuff tomorrow, some interesting things tomorrow night. And hope you'll be there. Bring a beer, bring a cup of wine. No. You don't have to, Snork. It's okay. I didn't even send you an invite. So, I mean, I just kind of wanted to throw this out there. And that I think that the Republicans really need to, and any party, and I'm talking about any of these people, any of these people that are running, and all these candidates here, and there's hundreds of them, right? There's a few hundred here probably, a couple hundred, maybe 150, 200. and all these people are running, they need to make sure that that this shit's going to count. That's the most important thing. I don't know why fucking see how they put the Democrats first here. Look at that, right at the very top. Ballotpedia is so biased. You should read the narratives they have. It's fucking, but it's the only information I have because the Republicans don't have a fucking website for this. There's a lot of things these people need to do. They need to get on the ball with how they. Anyway, um, listen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Again, this is James with Montauk. Fix it. You've got to make sure that the bus of your voters is working to get you to the ballot box. Republicans, Independents, Green Party, whatever party you're from, you got to make sure that machine will get you there and bring you home. Okay? From point A to point B and back to A safely. Does that make sense? Right? And if it's not working, then somebody's cutting the brake lines. Does that make sense? Okay, so you need to make sure that you're on, this entire system is made so that it is completely fair. Just the word fair doesn't, that's the problem. I just don't see the word fair being a word of substance anymore, a word of that needs complete and total, um, um, you take it to heart, like it doesn't mean much anymore. Being fair to somebody, fair to people, being fair, right? Is it a fair situation? Is it a fair race? Right? Should the guy in a dress be weightlifting against the woman that's in a dress at the fucking weightlifting competition? I mean, there's this, the fairness has gone out the fucking door. And if you want things to be, if the Democrats actually cared about democracy, they would be talking about Citizens United all day long, all week long, and twice on fucking Sundays. But they don't. They would make sure that every fucking machine in all these 6 different voting processes, okay, are completely transparent. The system itself has no way is vaulted. There's just no way of anything or anybody being able, like a digital encryption, hacking, knowledgeable programming code guy to get in there. Mr. Roboto. If you ever seen that movie, the series, I think it was on HBO or was it Showtime, Paramount? I don't remember. But you get it on Amazon. I recommend you guys go watch that. It was wonderful. The first 2 seasons was epic. 3rd season was kind of, and the 4th season they were just stretching. That's the way it usually goes. But that guy was a fucking hacker, and they're out there. I mean, can this stuff be hacked? Right? If you have a paper ballot that used to be used back in the fucking good old days, they didn't have the technology, you just had a machine. Not even a machine, you just mark it off, and people would stand around and verify it, and they would count it off, or usually they read it off, right? And it could happen. So you could isn't that crazy? That's when things were fair, that's when things were fair, right? I mean, you're going to have the external influences of the media, commercials, advertising, marketing, coming after you. Oh, vote for this person because this person's this or this person's that, or that guy's an asshole, or this girl's an asshole, or that's a bitch, whatever. That's part of it. But if you're not doing your own research, checking what the person did, just look back at the past 10 years at their voting record, if they're a congressman, legislator, judiciary. See how they've been. The thing you want to look for in a person, which is hard to find these days, is integrity. Do they show up Do they do the job? Right? Are they there for people? We need multiple, this is Snark, aka Mitch. We need multiple redundant systems from creation to storage. Remember in the race in Florida, the cops pulled over the truck with the ballots and let them be swapped out. Exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then the whole transportation process that should never happen. To be able to it's just it's like so we're depending on the freeway next to a cliff, next to an ocean or a lake that could fall off, and there goes 100,000 ballots, right? Because we have to transport these ballots over there. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid, right? The entire process is just ridiculously lame and stupid. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Snark. I'll be on tomorrow night. Probably I'm going to go earlier, probably about 9. I'm going to be on about 9ish. Faux show. And then we'll go from there. And we'll be talking about all kinds of interesting things that are going on out there. That's just, but Republicans again. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing, but you better make sure that system's working correctly everywhere before you even think about running anybody Republican. Because you guys, did you fucking forget what happened in 2020? For fuck's sakes. Aloha. Thank you for being here. Mahalo.